One of the most prolific Nazi prisons was Plötzensee Prison, found in Berlin. It was inside here where roughly 3,000 people were executed during the Third Reich, in a number of different ways. Plötzensee was where some of the most tragic victims of Hitler and the Nazis lost their heads. It was inside the execution chamber there that Sophie Scholl, the member of the White Rose movement, lost her head on the guillotine. But despite the guillotine being used within Plötzensee, Hitler ordered the establishment of another execution device and structure within the execution chamber of the prison. On the hanging beam of the prison, there were many people who were executed at the same time, and Hitler even had some of the executions on here recorded. Welcome to Untold Past. Today we look at the hanging beam of Plötzensee Prison, and as always, to support our channel, please make sure to subscribe. Plötzensee Prison was a site of execution for many years, and there were in total 2,891 people who were executed during the Nazi era from 1933 to 1945 there. This was a huge amount. To begin with, serious criminals and murderers were condemned there, but during the Second World War there were young women who were executed there for just resisting Hitler and distributing leaflets and stickers that told the German people to think in other ways that weren't in line with the Nazis. The executioners received an annual salary and a bonus of 60 Reichmarks per execution, and the families of the condemned even had to pay a fee of 300 Reichmarks for their loved one's death. The execution chamber of Plötzensee Prison was a brick building found in the courtyard of the prison, and it's still there today, and the condemned, when notified about their execution, would be led out into the courtyard towards the chamber. The guards confirmed the identity of the condemned before they were passed over to the executioner. With guillotine executions, the executioner could take the head off someone within 10 seconds of them being led into the chamber. However, in late 1942, Hitler ordered that the execution chamber must be fitted with a steel beam. This steel beam ran across the ceiling, and it ran from one wall to the other. On this beam were to be secured 8 iron hooks, and they were to be used as a gallows to hang people. The first people to die on the hanging beam inside Plötzensee Prison were members of the resistance group, the Red Orchestra. Hanging was said to have been a more painful and prolonged execution than the speed and efficient use of the guillotine. But the point of this hanging beam was to prolong the death ordeal, and the protocol of the hanging beam was, when the prisoner was led up to the hanging beam, the noose was wrapped around the hook. They would then be placed on a stool or a step, and the noose was secured, and the stool would then be kicked out. The method of execution was slow hanging and slow strangulation. There were many people who died on the hanging beam, and many of these people were those who found themselves condemned by the People's Court following the July 20th plot, in which Hitler's Wolf's Lair was bombed. Hitler escaped with his life, but many high-ranking members of the Wehrmacht and military were executed on the hanging beam. Some were cut down when almost dead and revived, all for their ordeal to be repeated again and again. Hitler even ordered these executions to be filmed so he could watch them back later. The hanging beam of Plötzensee Prison is still there. The guillotine inside the chamber was recently discovered elsewhere, but the point of this execution structure was a prolonged and painful execution, and this was what Hitler wanted. Thanks for watching. To support our channel, please make sure to subscribe, and once again, thank you so much for watching.